So today we're going to be talking about Pokemon reprints. It can be a bit of an interesting topic. Some people like reprints, some people don't like reprints. Me, I'm a huge fan of it. I think right now we need as much reprints as humanly possible. Across the board really, like the whole of the Scarlet Violet era. And there has been restocks, okay? We've seen over in the US especially, restocks of 151. We've seen restocks of Prismatic especially, with like big Costco bundles and things like that. Over in the UK is a little bit different. We have had some 151 booster bundles arrive in stores over the past couple of weeks. Prismatic, however, is not really seeing much in the way of any restock / reprints happening. This summer is going to be very interesting and quite crucial, I think, moving forward, because now's a good time, right? Now is a really good time to get a lot of sets reprinted. I think pretty much, like I say, anything from Scarlet and Violet era, but I think if they can do anything from maybe, I don't know, Paradox Rift onwards or Temporal Forces onwards, that would be pretty sweet. Probably not Shroud of Fable, but, you know, majority of other things as well. So today we're looking at TCG Player, a few sets that have been affected by reprints and could be affected, and what will, you know, we can get an idea of maybe what would happen. And then we'll be looking at over here in the UK as well on eBay and seeing what's been going on there. So let's jump into it. Okay, so on TCG Player today, first set we're going to look at is Prismatic. Now, Prismatic came out in January. It came out really, really expensive. ETBs were just silly. I think they were like $150, maybe $160. We're looking at it today anyway for the regular ETB. So the regular ETB, we're looking at $105. So it has actually fallen 27% over the past 3 months. Now, it had a lot of restocks happen over in the US. I know you had the Costco and that crazy good stuff. Here, we haven't had anything on that level at all, especially when it comes to the ETBs. So our prices are probably holding relatively stable, but we'll take a look at eBay in a bit and see what's been going on. But as regarding Prismatic, I think it came out, like I said it before, like ridiculously expensive. I mean, it was $150. That's crazy expensive, like basically nearly 3 times over MSRP. Then it did take a dip down to 111. And like, I guess at the time it was like, oh, hang on a minute, this was the release when the set came out. Maybe, just maybe, it will keep going down. Nope, it went up to around about 140. And I think at the time I was saying to people, look, this is a new set. It's just come out. It's going to get printed into the ground. This was before Pokemon made the announcement that they were going to, you know, push a lot of printing out on this. And I'm like, hold fire, don't spend 140. That's ridiculous. And then they made the announcement to say, look, we're going to, you know, put the printers to the max. We're going to print more and more of Prismatic. And basically hold fire. And stuff has been hitting the shelves. Now we've seen this decline. And it's one of these things where I still think over $100 is too expensive. I think that with Prismatic, for me, you know, will it head towards MSRP? It's going that way. And the reason why I say that is, if you look at some other sets, right, similar holiday sets that are super popular, that did go up in price, and then reprints came and it fell quite heavily. But then, you know, some of them did bounce back. Crown Zenith is a prime example, where it did go below MSRP. It went up, and you couldn't find much Crown Zenith, and then they printed a crap ton for a long period of time, and then it was like $40 in ETB, and yeah, now it's bounced back up, but it went under MSRP. Same thing happened to Shining Fates. Now, a lot of people have seen talk about this as, you know, Pokemon Go or Champions Path. Champions Path was a set that came out, I remember, back in 2021. It might have been, no, in fact, 2020, I believe. So it came out, and it was like around $100, really inflated, and it just stayed there. It didn't really go down much. It didn't really move much. And, you know, one of the worst things, if you're going in and you're buying stuff to invest, is obviously stuff that goes down, but also stuff that doesn't go anywhere. And we have seen sets and products that have done that in the past. Now, I'm not saying that Prismatic won't go anywhere, but I do think we're only 5 months in. Pokemon are going to print more this year. They're going to print probably more next year. We could see Prismatic fall below $100, heading towards MSRP. I mean, I want it to be MSRP. I think, like, I opened it up at retail, and I felt like I got mugged off with how bad the pull rates are, and that was at 55 in ETB, let alone 105 now. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Prismatic, especially the ETBs, will probably fall. And when we look at some of the other products, of course, you've got the SPC. I still haven't bought one of these yet. I still think they're ridiculously too expensive. This is $200. Now, in the past, I was like, you know what? With the price point of where things were with Prismatic, it was like at $200 or under $200. It isn't that bad. However, that's not the case because a lot more Prismatic is hitting the shelves and prices of stuff have been going down. I mean, you get 15 packs inside, you get the promo, which has fallen like crazy. You get the deck box and the playmat, which is cool, and the sleeves. But all in all, it's not the best. I mean, I actually picked up the playmat, the promo, the sleeves, and the box for £30, which I thought was a very, very good deal. So you think about 30, right? Let's say it was $30. You pay 30 and you're there going, okay, well, am I spending $170 on 15 packs of Prismatic? Quite pricey. I mean, if you up here is ridiculous at $250, but would you know what's even more ridiculous? People paying $458. I mean, they deserve the erect. That was ridiculous. So yeah, I hope this gets printed more like the Charizard UPC did, where it did fall very heavily. 151, there was a lot to begin with, and then it climbed up over time. So I'm holding fire on this. Like, one to keep sealed. Here in the UK, they're going for about 150 a piece. I think they'll probably go lower, but we'll have to wait and see if Pokemon print more. And then finally, I want to look at the regular booster packs of Prismatic, right? So just the normal booster packs. So we're looking at about $11 a booster pack, and it has fallen about 15% over the past 6 months. So pretty much it's fallen from a high of $17 when the set came out at the end of January. It was 11. It did creep up to nearly 14 a pack, and it dropped even more. Look, we could be seeing, it go under $10 a booster pack. Again, heading towards MSRP will be tough to do, but I think it'll go down that route. We may see the loose packs become quite cheap, especially when they reprint things like booster bundles. They reprint in ETBs. They might go ahead and reprint some of the other like triple blisters or the binder collection or the poster collection. Those type of products I could see get reprinted, which overall would drop the value of the set. It's not even 6 months old, guys. It's too early. It's too early. A lot more reprints coming, and I do expect it to fall. Okay, another set I want to talk about is obviously Destined Rivals, which is the the most recent set that's come out. And we're looking at booster boxes for this one. So we're looking at $250 a box. It's holding better than I thought. I thought it would drop a little. I know it hasn't been out that long, but I thought it would actually fall a little bit more than that. Right, I actually did. But the fact it went from 260-ish down to 250, 240. Ideally, under 200 would be nice, and hopefully towards MSRP. For a set that is, basically like a month old, this is ridiculously expensive. I mean, the set's great. It's good fun to open. Amazing artwork. We've seen the price of the cards fall like crazy. So in my opinion, I don't see why the packs don't fall, right? 250 seems a bit ridiculous. And I do think it's going to be the best set in the Scarlet Violet era when it comes to boosted boxes. But 250 for a set that's just come out, it's going to get reprinted. It's got a long print window, guys. We're literally like a month in. Do you know what I mean? But we look at other stuff as well. I mean, let's take a look at the normal ETB. The normal ETB has fallen quite substantially. So when it came out, we're looking around about $100, and it's dropped 28% from up here. But overall, I mean, it has fallen a lot. Right, I mean, it was 120, and then it has fallen a lot since then. So, all in all, I do think the ETB, I think it's still again too pricey. $85 to $90 for a regular ETB is madness, absolutely madness. If you're gonna open up them, it's just not worth it. It really isn't right now. Pokemon Center ETB has fallen as well. Again, not worth opening. This one I think will do well in the long term. Pokemon Center ETBs normally do anyway, so that's kind of like protected to some extent. Then we have the normal booster packs. You're looking at $7 a booster pack, and it has fallen 37%, which is a lot, right? That is a no joke. That is a lot that has dropped. So $7. So bust out my little trusty calculator. 7 times 36. Look at 252. So yeah, you're looking at about 250 if you were going to buy the packs individually, which is the price of a booster box. So at that point, just buy a booster box, right? But I do expect it to fall. $7. Only dropped 37%. I think it's going to see a downward trend in this summer with more and more getting printed and going into 2026, the end of this year and 2026 and stuff. I expect Destined Rivals to continue to fall. I do. Journey Together. So this one's an interesting one. I've seen a lot of Journey Together. Destined Rivals, barely haven't seen. I haven't seen any in the wild. Prismatic, didn't really see any. Journey, however, I've seen it quite heavily. So we look at the enhanced box, which was the standard one in the US. We're looking at $205 a box. And that is actually doing well. It's kind of weird because I've seen it everywhere. And here in the UK, Journey Together, you can get for like 155, like at retail. So yeah, 200. I thought it would drop under 200, if I'm being perfectly honest. Again, if you're somebody back here which bought it for $300 a box, that's going to sting. But in all honesty, I do expect Journey Together to fall even more in the future, mainly because it's a fun set to open, but the value of the cards, it's just not great. It really isn't that great. Fun set to open though, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it's mid. It's a mid-tier set. I wouldn't put it, like if I was going to rank it, it wouldn't be massively high. I do think it's an okay middle of the road set. But it is fun to open though. But yeah, $205. I do expect it to fall, especially if more comes. So it's new, guys. Anything that's new, I'm so cautious. Like it's just one of these things. Like back in the day when you used to buy a brand new set, it was like 100, maybe 110, 115. Sure, fine. It's under MSRP. Happy days. But buying stuff that's over MSRP, it's going to go down. I think it's just the way it is. Let's have a look at the loose booster packs of Journey Together. So you're looking at $6.64. It's actually gone up, which is kind of interesting. Up by 14%. Wow, so it was $5.50 and now it's $6.64. Okay, let's bust out the calculator again. Let's see. So $6.64 times 36, $2.40 a box. Box worth of packs loose. You can also just buy a box, right, and get the promo for like $200. Yeah, that seems kind of strange. How weird. Yeah, because I mean, it was a 556. So it was 200. So you might as well just buy the box, get the promo, sell the promo, grade it, do whatever you want with it. Interesting. But yeah, I do expect Journey Together to continue to fall as it's so new and not the best. Surging Sparks is another set which I think should be reprinted and probably will, as it is way too expensive for how early the set is. And look, you know, $250, you're looking at this. I mean, it has dropped a little bit, but it's had a little bit of a bounce back. Actually, it was at $255, went down to $218, which is pretty good, but then it bounced back up recently. Over the past 6 months, the set's kind of pretty much where it once was. But over the past year, overall, since it's come out, it's done very well. The set's not even a year old, came out in November. So for me, I still think it's got a long reprint window. You could be, I mean, losing $100 in value is going to be tough to get it down to MSRP. And when reprints come, you might be able to find it in stores that do it for MSRP. That is a possibility. And if you do, very good. But right now, I don't know, it's too high risk for me. Like, I personally wouldn't be picking these up in a hurry. Like, I would be kind of like really cautious of this going, do I really want to be spending that type of money right now? In all honesty. Do I want to? Probably not, as it will fall. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he'll do well in the future. I think he'll be a very good set. But it's like, it's a bit of a risk, right? You know, it could drop to MSRP and then you're going to feel pretty bad. A regular booster pack of Surging Sparks, $7 pretty much, a booster pack. We go back over the last 6 months, it's been pretty steady. Of course, in the last year, it's gone up a lot. So you're looking at $7 a pack. So we break it down, we're looking at $6.91 times 36, $2.50 a box. So, you know, unlike Journey, where it's cheaper to get a box, Surgeon's about right. So yeah, it's interesting. Getting very expensive for how old the set is, but I do expect it to fall. I do. And the last set I want to talk about today is 151. So 151, let's take a look at this. So we'll look at the normal ETB to begin with. This is crazy. 240 to 250 in ETB. It's gone up 17%. Pokemon just haven't reprinted this, like, at all, right? They just ignored the ETB. They're like, who cares? Whatever, we're not redoing it. Over the last 6 months, it's gone up 75%. Over the past year, it's gone up 251%, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, even if they did reprint this, it's not going to... You would see a dip, but you're not going to see it go back to MSRP. The set's... It's at that point now. And they're just not reprinting it. They're not restocking it. They just don't care. It's not even showing any light day. This one is very interesting, very expensive. Now, booster bundles, they definitely have been pumping these bad boys out. We had them here in the UK recently. So you're looking at $68. So you get 6 packs, you get 9 packs in the regular ETB. The regular ETB, you look at, as you saw, 240, 250. You're looking at basically $100, right? If you bought 1.5 lot of these, that's a huge difference, right? You're looking at $100 for the same amount of packs, for 9 packs compared to 240 to 250, and you get a promo, it's kind of a no-brainer to pick up booster bundles. I think booster bundles are a good, cheap, effective way of getting 151 packs. And 151 packs have they've gone down, right? 9%, nearly 10% drop. They're about $10 a pack now, which is very good in my opinion. Here in the UK, they have gone a lot more expensive. We haven't had the reprints and restocks. We have recently, but not a huge amount. We haven't had a big amount like Blooming Waters and so on and so forth. So for us, 151 has always been quite pricey, anywhere between like £13 to £15 a pack. But $10, pretty good. Like, it's for how old it is now and it's getting on a bit. It's a good sign. Okay, so we're looking over here in the UK, Destined Rivals booster boxes. So we're looking around about £200 a box, right? 200 here, that's nearly finished. So you're looking around about 190, well, about 200 actually by the time it's done. It's 195. So yeah, £200 is holding relatively well. I actually thought it would drop maybe below 180, so it's under £5 a pack. But £200 a box, we're looking at half booster boxes. It's been a lot of normal booster boxes, half booster boxes. We're looking around about 95 to 100. So yeah, £200 a piece. So if we look at £200 a box of Destined Rivals, you're looking at £5.55 a pack. That's what you're looking at. So that's pretty pricey. Is it roughly around about £1.20 over retail? I still think it's too expensive. I managed to pick some up at retail, and then after that, I'm there like, oh, you know what? It just seems too expensive. It does. And like I said, with more coming, if this I could genuinely see this heading towards retail. If Pokemon get on top of that printing, I could see this drop down to MSRP, just like Journey's done, right? Journey you could pick up as well. So interesting. £200, still too expensive. So Surging Sparks, wow, we're looking at pretty much the same price as a Destined Rivals booster box. We're looking at around about £200 a box, 195 to 200. You got here like 205. This one might be a little bit better. This one here is basically 190, just over 190. So we did see it was around like 180 for a while, 180, 190. So it has crept up to 200 plus now. So if we look at what, 200, so if it's £200 ETB, you're looking at about £5.55 for a booster box, sorry, not an ETB, which is pretty pricey in my opinion, it being £200. Reprints, again, this set is not even a year old, guys, so be careful. If reprints are coming, we could see boxes of Surgeon be available at 155, maybe 160. So yeah, be careful. We could see more Surgeon if you're paying 200. It is risky. It is risky. Would I personally pick up for 200? I was kind of happy picking up a little bit more. Like I was picking them up at like 165, 170. But 200 is a bit like, especially we come into the summer, we're getting to reprint season. We know that the reprints are coming. It's yeah, pretty interesting. And then on to the Prismatic ETBs. So we got Pokemon Center ones about 155, 160. So they've gone down a bit. They did peak about 200. They have come down a little bit, which is quite nice. I mean, I was picking mine up anywhere between 120 and 180. So they're about where it was when I was picking them up. It's kind of interesting. Like, would I pick them up now at 150? Because I was in the past, like when the set came out. It's Pokemon Center. I personally would go for Pokemon Center over the regular ones. I mean, the regular ones here are £100 a piece. You're paying £50 more for the promo and extra pack and that more rarity as it was with Pokemon Center. They're more likely to reprint the regular ETBs. But the thing is, if they go down the route of 151, who knows, right? 151, they printed the booster bundles. The ETBs have held quite well. I think like we're waiting for these reprints to come here, right? Over in the US, they've had them, and they might have more anyway, but they've had some already, and we've seen that price drop. I think we're going to get the same here. So you could be seeing ETBs drop, hopefully towards MSRP, maybe £80 or under £80, 75 in ETB or whatever. I find it hard to believe you'll get to MSRP. You will be able to find some when that happens at MSRP, but I do think it will, on the secondary market at least, hold somewhat of its value, but it needs to be reprinted. It needs to drop. £100 is ridiculous. Booster bundle for 151. This has dropped. We have seen a reprint restock of this hit here in the UK recently. These were going for like 75, 80 plus. Now we're looking at 60. To me, 60 is pretty reasonable. That's £10 a booster pack. I'm happy for that. We haven't had £10 booster packs on 151 for a very long time. So I'm here for it, to be honest. But it was, like I say, between £13 and £15. So it's dropped 30-50%. That's good, right? So hopefully, it's dropped £3 to £5 a pack, which is a fair amount, like 30%, like a third of the price drop. That's very, very good. So for me, I think 60 is pretty good at £10. As we see, we can look at normal ETBs, but yeah, it's a good restock. So when we look at the 151 ETB, again, we haven't seen them printed either in the US. Over £200 for a normal ETB. That's not even the Pokemon Center version. That's just the bulk standard ETB. We do have a Pokemon Center one here for $260. That's big. So you got buy now at $360. So we got here normal. These are just normal ones. $250, $210, $210. Pokemon Center at $360. Very, very expensive for 151. And I do expect it to continue to go up. Very, very interesting. I think we might get some more booster bundles down the line as well. But yeah, 151 ETPs. Wow, they just haven't reprinted it. So there you have it, guys. Reprints and restocks have been affecting the Pokemon market, and I think they will continue to affect it throughout the summer. And I welcome it, right? I want things to be cheaper. I want things to be more readily accessible for everybody, whether or not you want to open it, whether or not you just want to keep it sealed. Look, I welcome that 100%, especially in this market situation. We just need as much stuff as humanly possible. I think Pokemon should rank it out, print more. Be careful though. If you're looking at picking up product, things are really expensive right now. Still, in my opinion, you know, if you look at, especially in the US, with a lot of booster boxes being over $200, pretty pricey. I'm surprised here in the UK, Surgeon is now more expensive than Destined Rivals, is now probably up there. I mean, I think Paldea Revolt may be slightly more expensive. We didn't look at that one, but Surgeon being now basically £6 a pack is quite frightening, really. It's pretty expensive. So keep that in mind. Things are getting more pricey with Surgeon, but overall, the rest of the Scarlet and Violet era is doing, you know, it's doing well. It's holding quite well. We are seeing slight drops, decreases. Prismatic over in the US has been falling. 151 regarding packs, especially loose packs, have been falling. But certain products, you know, 151 ETV hasn't been touched. Prismatic Evolutions here, we haven't seen any restocks of anything. So hopefully we'll get things a bit cheaper here. But right now, those ones I'm looking at, right? Destined Rivals, Journey Together, Surgeon, stuff like that. Those are the big hot sets. The older sets like Base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian, even Paradox, they're getting on a bit now. So I do expect them to just go up over time and fade into the darkness, you know. But the rest do have a reprint, let's be real. So really, really interesting times. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have you been picking up any MSRP? Have you managed to get hold of some restock / reprints? You know, did you beat the scalpers? I try. It's sometimes next to impossible. But yeah, I mean, it is really, really interesting times, and hopefully Pokemon can print more in the summer, and I welcome it, and we really, really need it. But that's it from me, guys, in today's video. If you watch more Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.